I'm BJ from the 478, and today we're at OCD Audio LLC, located in Centerville, Georgia. And I want to go over a couple things because this is phase 2 of this 1974 Caprice Classic, and I've actually got the trunk almost finished. I do have the console completed, ready to install. I also have the kick panels I'll be installing tomorrow. These were remade. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the grills out tomorrow. These actually I just actually vinyled them, so I wanted to make sure I didn't have any seams that come up, so I just pushed those back in until that other part sets, and then I'll be taking those other kick panels out, these here, and we're replacing them. So those were the ones we were talking about. Hey, look, it was okay at the time, but now times have changed and they're not okay. So like I said, I just recently vinyled these up, and these press-in grills, I'll make this. I wanted to do something kind of nice and clean, and what I do, people, I build off of your factories. So like right here, this notch will be grooved out, so your hood latch will actually go back and fit in there, and then I can make a bracket to put your hood latch back up at the top of this on the driver's side. So basically I just wanted something nice and clean, not too bulky, but once it goes back in there, it's nice and slick. And I'll paint that instead of vinyling it, because you really won't see that part right there. But then we'll go from there. Now, as far as the console is actually a 3-piece console, and what I'll be installing is the double din Alpine radio, and I'll leave the DSP still in the dash. Let me show you where they had it mounted at. I will leave that there because it does look nice and clean in there, and I do like that piece of plexiglass they did use. It looks good. So the press-in grills will go here. I'll put maybe a mid-range or a tweeter, or I might just light it up. I'm not sure. I need to check and see what all. I got some extra 6.5s. That could be where I can put them at. Just once this radio goes in there, I want to make sure I'm not gonna obstruct anything. The radio's first, and then whatever space is left over in here, maybe I could put a tweeter or something in there, but we shall see. I'm cross between the gloss black. I went ahead and ordered some, and these marine actually cup holders. I think the gloss black will probably look better once I get them in. They should be here. They might be at the house today when I get home, but I'm just gonna set them in there to see, because and you let me know on my next video which one do you like better, and maybe we can rock it like that, because this console is nice and clean. It's a 3-piece console, and like I said, you won't necessarily see the red until you either take that off, or he has an option to either press that grill back up here or take it off and rock the red as well. So I gave him a couple options, just a little something different. I try not to do everything the same way for everybody. I like to spice it up, if you could say that, just a little bit. But the 3-piece console makes it so neat because it actually, and I don't stitch, people. I can wrap, and I'm not the best, but I'm pretty decent at it. So what I do is I take and I wrap this section, then I wrap this section, and then I bolt the pieces onto here, and it makes it look like a 3-piece or a stitched product, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's a put together, and that's the way I know how to vinyl something in order to give you the effect and the illusion that it's been upholstered and stitched, but it's not. You know, it's all wrapped. I don't stitch too tough because I got an issue with straight lines. If it's not straight and they're off just a little bit, I'll redo it, because I'm that guy. And let me show you the reason why I say that's the reason why this business is named OCD Audio LLC, because I am so finicky about straight lines. Everything has to be straight for me, like my wiring. It does take me a couple hours to actual wire up stuff. But once I wire it up, I don't want to have to go back in and undo anything. So I run wire for wire. I made him an actual fuse panel over here. Well, fuses go here, here, and here, bolted into the amp. This one right here runs adjacent to here, all the way back over to this battery. This battery catches the slack from the front, the alternator. So no amps are on this actual battery here. So it will come from the alternator from the front, all the way to the back to this isolator. Once I put this isolator, I'll make a rack for it to sit back up in there so nothing touches it. But once it goes into this, it will come out of that into this, and from this battery all the way back over adjacent to that, and all your amps will juice off of that battery. So we'll get a draw from here. It'll pull off fresh current from right here off this battery, and coming in from the built alternator from the front. So I'll go up there and I'll double check. There's some wiring that I'm gonna go up there and run some more OFC, some more grounds. Also, even back here, I did 2 aught gauge per battery. I'm gonna make, I'm opposed to putting them, but I wanted to cut them to length and go ahead and run the lugs. But in the morning, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna make another billet piece of aluminum and drill it here, and then have 2 posts up here so I can add those in, and that way I may run 3 and run 3 grounds in it as well. I'm not sure, but I'm that guy with those grounds. Likewise over here, I'm just opposed to it sitting on top of each other. I want it to be moved over. So what I'll do is, like I said, I'll make another piece out of billet and actually go back and rest on this, kind of sort of like that, and have it to where I can have 2 more posts for the negatives here, and everything will be everything. Also, they will be actually grounded to the frame, and then right here, what I'll do is take and I'll run another one around from this part right here from the terminal, and I'll do a body ground. So what it will do is, once it sees that, you'll have a good body ground because I got good chassis grounds. So you know, if you go back to any of my videos, I'm always iterating, hey look, and leaning towards your grounds are your most important part of your whole system. Then we get into the wiring, your wiring, OFC instead of just regular any kind of wire, because some of that wire can't conduct the amount of voltage going through it, and it'll end up, the jackets on it will end up melting, and your wires will melt, and then you're sitting there looking crazy because something called a fire, and we're trying not to do that. With me personally, I'm more or less this person right here that would like to just do it one time, and then when you come see me again, we're gonna upgrade. So tomorrow I'll be running all Stinger jacks back into those amplifiers. This one right here is bass. This one right here is kick panels, rear panels, and 6x9s. This one right here is going to be the dash pad and the actual console. I may take the kick panels off of this one and run here, and that way I can tweak it and adjust it a little bit more, and that way I won't be putting so much stress on what's in the dash, because I'm gonna win on what's in the dash for the simple fact that these actually don't, the Beamers, they actually don't take that much power, but I'll be able to clean it up and adjust them so they'll actually blend a whole lot better. And I will be putting that in the morning, because I got to put the console, I'm taking the seats and everything out tomorrow afternoon once I get here, and I'll be moving everything back in order to get the console in there, and then I can zip tie wires up in the top, then I can put the dash on. That way I can see, instead of just having spaghetti junction in there and just dropping wires down. I want to be able to zip tie them up. I I want to be able to hide wires, and I don't want to have to look down from the top of the console and see wires in the background. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. And it's one other thing I want to show you also. It's kind of sort of a helpful hint when you're running these wires in here, because if you notice, like, they don't move. How you can achieve that is, let me show you. It's gonna be, I'm here to help people. I'm not here to hide all your secrets and stuff. It's some things I'm not just willing to just go out and just necessarily say, hey, look, do this, do that, because I don't have time, and that's my livelihood. That's how I make my money. But this is my craft, and this is what I do for a living. So it's my career. So long story short, this is a little tip that's going to help you in the long run, for the simple fact that this right here is what I call tinting. There's several ways you can do it. It's little heat soldering stations you can buy that actually you just put bricks of solder in, and you can turn around and tint. Well, if you turn around, a lot of times I had issues to where the bricks wouldn't adhere to certain metal because of the flux that's inside it. So long story short, this right here is electrical solder. Hang on one second, let me get this up here. Alright, so let's do this. Alright, okay. Now I'm hands free. So let's see. First you're gonna need a torch. You can get your nice little torch. I went all out and got the nice fancy schmancy. So once you got your torch, you got your electrical solder, and majority of the time you can pick this up at Home Depot, but solder is everything too. If you don't get electrical solder, then sometimes you just get what you pay for. So you're going to want to take, let's get a moderate size, and this VFL wire, I swear I live by it. I love it. It's great OFC. It has nice strands in it, and it actually bites pretty good. So what you want to do is give it a good twist. Twist everything up, make it all solid, correct? This is reason why I say go ahead and do that first, is for the simple fact that once you put that solder on, and if it's bulged out, it's gonna stay bulged out, and it's gonna be hard to actually fit it in an amp that actually holds 4 gauge. So you'll take this, just wrap it around. Kind of get it as tight as possible. Good. See what I did here? So now, ouch. So what you're going to want to do is you're not going to want to burn all the way up into here. But what I did was I left it a little bit on the lengthier size, because some amps, they take a lot of, probably like 3/4 of your inch of your wire inside it. Some take 1 inch. But just for instance, and I'll show you, you can cut down the length once you stick it in there, and then you can run some heat shrink on it and make it look real uniform. So what you're going to want to do, you're not going to want to go straight up on it, but you're going to want to at an angle. That way you won't break it in half. You kind of sort of want to melt it just a little bit, because if you break it, it's just going to fall on the floor. This wire will get a little on the warm side. And you see it start disappearing. Well, you didn't see any fall on the floor. So you know what happened? It soaked into the wire. So once it soaked into the wire, I have my, because I'm telling you, that thing gets hot. So once it soaks into the wire, you can't undo it. And that thing's still hot. So once you got it cooled down, now you'll see what I'm talking about. Take it here. See what I'm talking about? So once you screw it into that amp, like this thing is hard as a rock. So once you screw it into the amps, just say for instance, if it's only, you know, 3/4 inch, you see how hard that is to cut? Now you see how deep the solder went down inside the wire. And this right here, once you put your, you turn around and put your heat shrink back over there. Let's grab some more right quick. That's big enough. This one's right here. I swear, I hadn't had a phone call in the past hour. In time I get ready to make an old video, I get phone calls. But I guess phone calls keep the business going in, huh? I'll return that phone call in just a minute. But now, as you can see, once you clamp this down inside your actual amplifier, you won't get to where once you're making moves, and this thing is still hot, but once you're making moves and you're bending, you're not actually causing it to lose connection in there and start undoing it and make it loose. You want it to bite into that, and I tell you what, this right here, this trick right here will get you, you know, years and years of actual playing time without either A, burning up something, or B, it coming loose. That was my helpful hint, and that's something I do. Also, you can do that same trick by taking your actual, let me see if I got another piece right quick. Let's see real quick. You're going to want to, you know, wrap it as tight as possible. Don't be shy with it. So once you do that, you can take so once you turn around and you heat this back up inside of this, I did bulge up some. But you get the point. So once you do that, because it's probably gonna have to go get a bigger lug, maybe, or I can take some of the, fray it down a little bit, but I'm not gonna do that because I'm actually not gonna lock this in. But once you get this on top of that, you can actually heat it up with a torch, and you won't even need to crimp this thing, but you can take and just crimp it right there in the middle and push down on it so to get a lot of bite in there. But that actual solder will heat, if you heat this part up right here, it will actually lock it into place and you won't get it off. Trust me. All right, so what's gonna be next is I'm gonna get everything planned first. Then I'll be pulling those actual rib paws out, and I'll be redoing those because that's gonna be a piece of cake. Everything else was making sure all the stuff fit, the console got completed, the amps were installed, and I'll be doing grounds tomorrow. So all these, like I said, I'm gonna make those billet pieces. All those will be fixed. Then I'll turn around and start running RCAs in there. Then I'll get back up front, wiring the console, and then I'll put the dash on, and then I'll put the kick panels on, and then that part will be a whole nother episode. So if you check with me a little bit later on this week, I'll post up another video. Hopefully that'll be video 3, and video 3 will have the rest of that and all that good stuff. Video 4 will have the actual back pieces getting done, the box install, and maybe all the wiring will be done underneath the hood, and then we go from there. And then we should be able to wrap it up and come get his car, and hopefully, and I'm pretty sure it should sound a whole lot better than it did once it came here. Like I said, I'm BJ from the 478. We're down here at OCD Audio LLC. You got any questions, you want to ask me anything, just leave me a comment in the comment section. I'm usually pretty fast on responding, especially if you're asking a question about this and that. But you can Google me. Let me show you one more time. You can Google me at OCD Audio LLC, and I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Till next time.